Hey, Salina. Tonight on The Scene, we're going to talk about some hot topics. Things that you may have heard of, things that you haven't heard of, and we'll give you some perspectives that we know you haven't heard of. Right, Jeff?
Does that mean we don't have a guest?
Yeah. No one loves us.
Nobody wanted to be with us today?
No one loves us today, but I love you, Jeff.
I love you too.
All right, stay tuned to The Scene.
Get together and pass the law so it's okay for women.
Hey, there's some things I am just not sharing with the world. Trust me. You all be grateful that I'm just going to be discreet. It's a good thing. But what is okay with that? I mean, first off, in art, the female body is way more beautiful and more artistic than, no offense, y'all's stuff is not real attractive. I'm just saying.
I would agree with that.
I mean, come on.
Are you offended, Charles?
I am. I really am.
Why are you offended? Think about, as far as art, public art, how many beautiful pieces of art have male stuff hanging out? But the female body is considered art and has been time and time again.
Who holds up the world? That's Atlas, right? Naked as a jaybird. Naked birthday suit holding up the world. He's holding the world. I don't see any other woman holding up the world.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's attractive.
Yeah, and how many Atlases are there?
He's holding the world.
Okay, that's one. Can you name like 5 more? Mm-hmm. You can't.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Because the only thing that's going through my mind is Venus. I just keep thinking of Venus.
Yeah.
Why? No, but really, like, why is it, what's the determination between the men being okay and not the women? Like, seriously, like, who voted on that? I mean, what is wrong with Kansas? Like, seriously, why is that okay?
But I think from the aspect of who would attack a man versus who would attack a woman.
I think the better question is...
If you was walking down the street nude, there's 5 guys sitting over here, and, you know, men are already attracted to that pornographic deal that's a natural...
Are we predisposed for that?
We're already...
I'm predisposed, honey, I can't.
Apparently it's inbred. I mean, you can't get around it. Okay.
Because you already said, even if he was walking with his junk hanging or whatever,
yeah.
you would just see he's going by walking. But what would those guys all over there say?
If a girl was walking by?
Yeah.
Well, that's just the age-old saying, Marnie, right? That guys think with their junk.
They do.
So apparently they need to air it out from time to time to get things straight, right?
I guess. I'm just thinking, first off, it shouldn't be gender-based. I mean, if you're going to allow one gender, you should have both.
Well, here's my question. Who made that law?
Thank you.
And in what year was that law made?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
I am sure that law was made by a man in 1852.
Well,
but wait a minute, if it was made by a man...
But at one time, we all used to be able to be nude anyway, so what's the difference?
What's the difference? Talk about distractions. That's like a public nuisance.
You just said you didn't like it. Why would it distract you?
I don't want to see random junk offending, burning holes in my eyes. I don't need to see that.
It's like this. You're walking along and you're like, "Ow, junk!" That's all you gotta do.
There's another one. There's another one.
Exactly.
Oh, it just kills me because so many people have issues with women breastfeeding in public, and that's what those suckers are meant for, is to feed children, and yet people are up in arms over that, whether it's being too lewd or scandalous, and yet a man with his stuff could be walking along in Topeka, Kansas, and it's okay. What is wrong with Kansas, seriously?
No pun intended on the suckers.
Yes.
But you see that. I mean, I've been in airports all the time.
But there's nothing sexual.
And you see a kid like...
But there's nothing sexual about it. It is a mother feeding her child. That's what those things are intended for. But
you said there's nothing sexual to you. What if it's sexual to another man? Charles is making a great point here.
Right.
You know?
What What is sexual about a mother feeding her child? Come on, that's not sexual. That you are the basic function in nature. You are feeding your child.
But the child's sucking on something.
Right.
For nourishment, not for sexual pleasure. For nourishment.
I'm not getting into all of my hang-ups right here on television. Just saying that maybe there's somebody out there that might see that and be kind of...
So why is that not okay, but yet a man can walk naked in Kansas, and that is acceptable, but a woman nourishing her child is not? I mean, really, what's wrong with that?
That's not the question we need to be asking. We need to be asking the question, why is it that a man can walk naked, but you can't smoke weed? I mean, smoking weed is not okay. You can't have Sudafed, but you can walk down the street naked. Is that not adding up? That's not adding up to me.
Well, perhaps the reason they're walking down the street naked is because they've had Sudafed and
not that
weed.
I want to smoke
And
weed
been
or
smoking
use Sudafed. I'm just saying.
Well, it says in the article that this type of behavior is often a sign of mental illness.
Walking around naked?
That's what the article says. Subjects are usually taken to the hospital for an examination after talking with officers.
So then why would it be legal? If that is true, if it's statistically true that more often than not people that engage in that free-flowing activity need to be examined mentally, then why is the law there? Why is it acceptable? That's crazy. Is it? I mean, I'm certainly not a law expert, but if that's true, why is it allowed? Doesn't that seem kind of ridiculous?
Are you saying that they shouldn't even have the nudie beaches?
I don't think you should be allowed to be nude. Seriously. I mean, come on, clothes. We are totally in a civilized society. I mean, I'm not trying to be prude or anything like that, but with everything going on in life, if I'm driving down the street, I just don't really need to see naked people.
Well, yeah, we don't need that distraction in our lives. We have so many other things to pull us away from what we're doing.
He couldn't afford any clothes.
Oh, that is not true.
Have you been shopping the dealers here lately? That stuff is outrageous.
You can go to Goodwill, Salvation Army. You can get an outfit for like under $3. Come on. You can go to a church if you're really down and out and get help.
You want a naked man walking into church?
Hey! God is understanding. God will provide.
That's right. A towel would work in this instance right here. Just a towel.
Couldn't afford a towel.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, then God bless him. I hope he's getting some assistance. But that's just bizarre on like 9 million different levels, in my opinion.
It is bizarre that is okay. I can't believe it's okay. Seriously. That should not be okay.
It should not be okay. And
I don't think it, for my children, I think it should be okay. But if it was an adult, like they have nude beaches and all those kind of things, I don't see, I mean, I don't go to them.
Oh, but
you know where they're at.
You know where they are. You know they
because in my younger days.
back in the day.
Yeah, in those younger days, you go to those places, but I don't see anything. I guess if there's not. I don't see where it's right for the children or underage to be there watching those kind of things. But I could see, as long as there's not a lot of stuff going on.
Okay.
What does that mean?
We have changed subjects now, ladies and gentlemen.
As long
we
as
have changed the subject.
and then maybe they're swimming or they're doing this or doing that. I don't know. I don't find that part of it. I don't think you should intrude on people's rights, I guess is what I'm saying.
Okay, but here's how I would say it. All I gotta say is sometimes, and I'm gonna go back to my little Kenwood Cove, and I love Kenwood Cove. No offense to the Saline. It's a great place. My daughter loves it. There's way too many people who are intruding on my rights, who are like wearing next to nothing, and they're violating my eyes without even trying. God bless them, you know. And, you know, I'm not even talking about sexual arousal or anything, but, you know, people
Were they guys, though?
There's both. There's men in Speedos who should just not wear them, let me just tell you. In my opinion. But what I'm just saying is, you know, the whole point of a civilized society, you know, whether you believe we're animals, we're above or below or a higher level, we are a civilized society, and we have clothing for, you know, protection, for health, for whatever. And sunblock. Can you imagine having to put sunblock on your junk? Like, seriously, I just don't want to see that. You know, it is an unnecessary distraction. I just don't think people need to be doing that. You know what? Do whatever you want in your own home, your own time. Sure, that's great. You want to be naked all the time at home? You rock on. But I don't need, nor do I want to see it. I shouldn't
Who else
have
has
to.
not passed the whole sunblock on your junk? I haven't heard a thing you said since sunblock on your junk, just so you know.
Well, here we are, Salina. 2 of us think this is a little unusual, and 2 of us think it's okay as long as it's women. So we'll be right back.
You made it. Years of hard work, investing, planning, and now you're here. The long-awaited reward you spent a lifetime looking forward to. But what now? After years of growing a nest egg, now you may want to manage it. Use it to fund your dreams. Make it last as long as you need it. And leave some for those you love. So what do? Wall Street continues to be uncertain, and some conservative options have dropped through the floor. How do you maintain opportunities for growth and reduce risk of loss from market changes? That's where we come in. We are financial professionals. From insurance products to tax reduction strategies and guaranteed retirement income you cannot outlive, provided by the claims-paying ability of insurance companies. You've worked a lifetime to get here. Let us help you enjoy it to the fullest. For a complimentary consultation, simply contact us today.
Hey, are you cruising around late at night looking for something to do? Come on down to Access TV and we will help you film whatever you want and get it on air. That's Access TV, 823-2500.
Welcome back to the scene. After our first little rousing discussion, I have something to ask you guys. When was the last time somebody made you feel old?
All the time.
Oh, I have to tell you about my experience this week. Okay, so I'm at the doctor office, okay, having a few things removed that probably looked a little suspicious, you know, and I'm talking to my doctor about these areas that need to be frozen off. And I say to her, okay, what causes that? And she likens my body to the barnacles on an old ship.
Oh, dear God.
I was absolutely taken aback by that analogy, and I couldn't believe it. That was probably the worst analogy I've had from the old age kind of syndrome so far in my life. So
did she give you a free copay after that?
I mean, like, I wanted to cry, but then on the other hand, it was kind of like, well, you know, I sort of get it. I get it. I'm old. I'm getting up there in age, but is there something else you could have used? Could you have said, it's like you're like a fine wine, you're aging wonderfully, or whatever?
Did they not teach bedside manner? Is that not a class?
Oh, man.
It must not have been. Dear Lord.
That was pretty bad. Pretty
that was
bad.
Harsh.
Or for me, the thing that happens is I go to Burger King, right? And I get a cup of coffee or get a small breakfast, and they're giving me a 10% discount. So I'm thinking, no, that's good. Then I find out that they only give that to seniors.
Yeah, right?
I'm like, whoa, what's that mean?
Did she automatically assume?
They're automatically
Just
giving it.
ring it up.
Yeah.
Tell me, this guy's got to be old.
Hey, though, on the flip side, on the positive, this never happens, very rarely. I got carded Saturday night for an alcohol.
love that.
I know. I said, bless you, child. That was wonderful. Well, you do look young, but I'm just saying, it must have been policy, because I'm like, really? I'm old enough to be your mom, sweetheart. Like, really? I mean, but just today, and I'm going to talk about you, Dean, God bless you, one of my staff members or coworkers, I was talking about, remember when Vanilla Ice ripped off Queen with Ice Ice Baby, and he's still, under pressure, that
Yes.
little...
Yeah.
Dean had no idea what I was talking about.
What?
I know! Was it that long ago? That Ice Ice Baby?
91?
I know, but
90,
he's that young, he didn't know.
He's on those home improvement shows now.
I guess, but
Ice
my
Baby,
coworker
Vanilla Ice.
didn't know that.
The
Vanilla Ice ripped off. It's Ice Ice
Vanilla
Baby,
Ice
yeah.
Project.
Vanilla Ice Project. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Why do I know this? Oh.
I know, but my coworker didn't know about Vanilla Ice ripping off Queen.
Man.
I know.
Did you play it?
Did he know Queen?
Did you YouTube it? And
No,
play
but he knew the Ice Ice Baby song, but he didn't know that he got sued by Queen for ripping off the.
it? He did. He
snippet.
totally.
And he slept with Madonna. Interesting little snippet. I
Freddie
know.
Mercury slept with Madonna?
No, he didn't
Vanilla
like.
Ice.
Yeah, I was
I
like,
was going to say Madonna.
no, because
Freddie Mercury would have slept with Madonna. I was
I
like,
thought she meant.
whoa.
I know.
Dean.
No, Dean's
Dean slept with Madonna.
no.
You go, Dean. You go, boy. You go. Yeah.
I don't
Dean's my man.
I don't think Freddie Mercury likes girls.
He doesn't.
No.
God bless him.
From what I heard.
Yeah, it's all good though.
You don't
Yeah,
like
it's all
watching
good.
now. He's gone.
Come on. Now you talk
He's a great
about.
singer. I love it.
Yeah,
He's my favorite.
a classically trained opera singer, I believe.
Yeah, one
I
of the
remember
top
him.
5 singers ever to walk
Of all
the face
time,
of the earth.
yeah, phenomenal.
I give it to him. He's fantastic.
And you talk about junk in tight pants now. There you go.
He wasn't showing it for you.
And what was up with that song, Fat Bottom Girls? Like, really? Like, were we supposed to believe that from him?
He's trying to throw people off.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, but wait. You just brought something up. Isn't that sad that he had to do that back then? He just
yeah.
couldn't be who he was.
Oh yeah, totally.
I mean, if he were alive today, he could be who he is.
Right.
He could just be Freddie Mercury. Gay? Is it gay?
You can say gay.
Can I say gay?
You can say it.
You can
Am I
say
gonna get
gay.
fired?
Feel
Gay.
free.
Wait, I'm not being paid, so I mean,
No,
what am I gonna
you can say that.
I can say gay?
Yeah, yeah.
Gay.
He could be gay. I mean, like Michael Sam, we got him in the NFL. He's tackling people, and
Who?
Michael Sam.
Right, but he might not. I heard they might cut him.
He might not get cut. By the time he may have gotten cut because they had to get down to 75 today, so he may have got cut.
But he's not getting cut due to his sexuality, right?
No. They have like
Skill level.
they have like
How do we
7 or 8
know that
defensive
though?
ends.
How do we know that for sure?
Why
They
does it?
drafted him.
Why?
I know.
Why
You
doesn't
wouldn't
even?
draft him to cut him, right?
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you draft him to show, hey, I'm on board with all this gay stuff, but you don't really intend to play him?
Well, that doesn't really.
He's been playing,
He
but
wasted
he's
a draft
just.
pick. He's been playing.
Yeah, he's
That doesn't
just
make
not
sense.
that good.
They
He
wouldn't do
wasn't
that.
as good as the other
I hope
guy.
they
All
wouldn't do
right,
that. That
so I
doesn't
don't
make
know
sense.
that much about football.
No, I'm just
Either.
saying
Thank the Lord.
they used a draft pick to get him, so I don't think you would
Waste it.
You were right. You wouldn't waste a draft pick.
No.
You wouldn't do that.
You would not waste a draft pick.
I don't even know what a
We're talking
draft
about
Wow,
means.
girls.
okay.
Here we go.
Wow. Well,
You know those X's and O's. My boyfriend tried to teach it. I still don't get it. I just, probably the best advice I've ever had is actually from my boyfriend's secretary. She said, "Marnie, just focus on the tight ends, and that's all that matters."
I totally agree.
And NFL.
Or the wide receiver. This is not going to be showing. These going, I ain't showing none of this.
They're never going to ask me back ever.
Yeah. Now we're talking about fantasy football.
Oh, good golly.
Yeah.
The great thing about fantasy football is it's a break from your other spouse, friends, whatever, who are totally into football, right? For those of us who are non-football people,
Yeah.
it's like freedom. I can watch Netflix, I can read a book, I can do whatever I want because you all doing your little football stuff, whatever
That's
that
right.
is. Thank
Yeah.
God.
You get a little reprieve,
Little me time.
a little reprieve from the football on the TV every 5 seconds.
I just want to hip you ladies to something.
Yes.
You want to hip us?
Did I just talk about old, right? My son, if he were to watch this, would go, "Dad, nobody says hip. Nobody says hip."
You do
If you
though.
like football
Yeah.
and you watch football with your man, things will go better.
You say that, but things are already okay. And I don't watch football at all.
It'll be better.
Well, why will they be better?
Yeah.
Because
Why?
you spend time together.
But you're not spending
Did you
time
see
together. You're
that?
watching tight ends and ramming each other. It's organized violence. There's no bonding.
Exactly.
You're just like, yeah, go, or oh, that's
you
a
mean?
horrible play.
You mean you'll be
That.
you'll be grateful, and so you'll be happier?
Hey, though, no. Hey, I will say though. Okay, I will say this. There is some truth in this. I will say, and my guy will love that I'm saying this on TV. He watches Project Runway with me, and so he thinks he could dance.
Okay,
Yes.
well, turnabout's fair play, right? Mm-hmm. So do you watch stuff that your wife wants to watch?
I watched Project Runway one time.
One time.
We watch a weekly.
Can you tell me any of the people that are on there?
I don't know anybody's name.
Well, I
Probably
could
because
say,
you were asleep.
I could
you were just
say me and
fake
my wife,
watching it.
we actually watched the Mets win the championship. And it was a time of bonding because we was both together. Yes, just like
that's what we do. Is so you think you can dance?
The thing when you can sit there and then she knowed who that. She says, "Oh, that was Dwight Gooden." She's calling.
She had names.
Yes, she's calling out. And we won tonight. She didn't say they won. She said we won tonight.
We won.
You know, it's that other part of bonding, you know.
Camaraderie.
We have that with Project Runway, and So You Think You Can Dance.
Yeah. He
even knows my favorite choreographers.
But it sounds. Do you notice
Travis
what that was?
Wall, yes.
One-sided.
Awesome.
That was one-sided.
Very one-sided.
That's very one-sided.
What was one-sided? What?
You said he watches that, but you won't watch the other with him.
But he doesn't mind.
He does.
Because yes, he said.
Mike, tell her to watch football with me.
I don't think he wants me because I don't get it. I'm just like, what? What's going on here? And then I get annoyed because it's like totally sexist. Oh my gosh, I hate football. I hate it. It's totally sexist. It caters to the male ego.
So really, if you watch, you're doing him a favor because if you watch it, you'd just be dragging him down.
I'd be complaining the whole time.
Yeah. So really,
the whole time. It's better for everybody that I don't.
So
watch
he
football.
should do that to you one time. He should complain.
No, he knows better. He knows better.
Oh, he knows.
Oh, wow. Did you see this? Did you see what just happened? Wow.
I got that.
bam, Saline. We'll be right back.
Hey, at Access TV, we can film about anything, even a video of a hard drive just spinning around in my hands. Contact Access at 823-2500 to get your programs on the air. Or if you want to help with any of our productions, give us a call, 823-2500. By law, public access is open to all citizens and to all viewpoints and for only non-commercial purposes. If you have any idea for a television program, we want you to be a member and we want to cablecast your program. TV for you, by you. Just give us a call at 785-823-2500 to find out more.
Hey, Saline, we're back. I am totally exhausted, but ready to move on to our next topic of discussion, which is our wonderful city commissioners.
And the one thing I want to say to the city commissioners is they really pulled it off. And the reason I say that is because, you know, last week we were talking about how we were kind of putting them in a box where they would pull somebody that was an ex-commissioner,
right,
you know, something like that, and then they just went completely in a whole different way, which is great.
You mean replacing Barb Shirley
There
for
you
stepping
go.
off? You know, and I wondered this, what is the process to determine who will fill a commissioner's spot if they depart for whatever reason?
Apparently, there's no process.
Well, I thought somebody said there's like you could fill out an expression of interest form or something.
That's what they did. That's those two. They had two of those, and then they had those other 3 candidates that were prior commissioners, and it looks like they chose one of those ones that filled out that interest.
So they have 5 people who actually decided, hey, I want to be the city commissioner, and then they
Five
picked one
that
of those
would is what it said that would do it, and they picked the one out of those 5.
So why didn't you complete an expression of interest?
Yes, that is the great
Well,
question.
because I can't spell expression, and I wouldn't even know where to get the form.
And you're not interested.
And I'm totally not interested.
Well,
And they got somebody who is, and Trent Davis?
Dr.
Yes.
Davis.
Dr. Davis, yes.
Love Dr. Davis.
An educated man. He's
Very
a doctor.
nice.
That's a great choice.
Good choice.
And
great
a
choice.
former Access
Good
TV
choice.
board member.
And an access. Oh,
Here,
well, that
here.
makes it even better.
Hey, he knows and has good support.
Well, right.
Yeah,
Right. And I've,
yeah.
seen
That's
him, I've seen
good.
him at the community theater. I've
Yeah.
seen him around town.
He's a super nice man.
Right.
Yeah.
He's a very nice man. I've actually met him. He doesn't remember me, but I remember him.
Well, not many people remember you, Jeff.
Let's not hurt people's feelings on camera. Words hurt.
You know, quite honestly, would any of you ever consider running for the city commission? Because I will just tell you, I never would. I would never want to serve the public in that capacity. Just because, you know, I've taped probably for 6 or 7 years, I've taped probably every city commission meeting known to man. And, you know, they're at that podium, that dais, and you know you're being recorded live. I mean, you're live, you're recorded, you're going to be replayed. The newspaper's there, you know, and sometimes the Wichita stations come, and people at Public Forum can say whatever they want, and you're live on TV, and you just have to sit there and take it. I could not do that.
Are they paid? How much are they paid?
City
Not very
commissioners
much.
only make, I think, and don't quote me, but I think they only make like $300 a month. Very minor fee, minor. County commissioners make a lot more, and I don't know the specifics, but city commissioners do not make nearly as much. They
Why would you
they
wanna do
truly
it?
serve.
I told you last week. Didn't I tell you I'm running?
Well, I know you're running, but why?
Well,
tell us why you want to do that.
Because
for
I want
$300
to make
a
some. I
month.
want some change.
Okay, Barack. What kind of change do you want?
I haven't really decided.
But you really
No,
are. You really want to run?
I do.
Wow, how cool
Well, this is
that?
it. This is your moment. Tell Salina what you want to change. What would you do?
Well,
Give us just one thing. Give us one thing that you would change.
Well, I would make sure that our youth are taken care of better. And I just like when we were talking about the recreation center, I think our youth don't have a lot of stuff to do. And then that leads them to getting in trouble. And I know, and I'm going to speak from when I was a youth, we had a teen club out there at the base, so where I lived at, so we could go there. And then when they closed that all up, what did we do? We came downtown and got ourselves in trouble. So if there's stuff that can take us away from those kind of things, that's what I really would like to see more of. And then I kind of, again, I'm a real estate man, so there's some things I don't care to really go into, but I don't always agree with other people and their decisions as far as how we should do that part of it neither.
Would you
Like
ever?
the mill levy.
Well, would you ever consider being on the planning commission first? I've heard that back in the day that you first, if you wanted to be on the city commission, you would be on the planning commission first, and that would then, after you serve your time on the planning commission, then boom, make that hop to city commission.
Right. And I really don't want to be on the planning commission. I know somebody that was on. Well, I know John Bosselmeyer, and they have one realtor involved with that, and I think his commission ended this year or something like that, and I was told all about that. But I've got enough things going on that's not one of the things that I really want to do.
Okay, so let's go back to that teen center. Isn't that on the ballot? I mean, like, how much is that going to cost?
That's a recreation.
Is that, I mean, the recreation center. How much?
Yeah, and I don't even know if it.
I don't think it's on the ballot. I'm not sure.
Isn't it?
They're going
Are
to
we
try to
voting
get it.
on that?
They're going to try to get it on the ballot,
It
but
was
they don't know if
too
they
late, I
can
think.
get it on the ballot. But basically, it's a $9 million facility. City would be responsible for $6 million of that. $3 million would be contributions and support from outside entities. So, you know, if I was going to pay a little bit more in property taxes or a little bit more in sales tax, I would much rather my money go to something like that than a jail facility.
Isn't that cheaper than the water park, $9 million? I mean, I don't know how much the water park costs, but
I don't recall.
thinking.
I don't recall, to be honest with you. But, You know, I don't know. This is another prime example of why I would never run on the city commission, because I don't want to be responsible for so many other people, to make decisions affecting so many other people, because I have my opinion, and as opinionated as I am, what do I know? I mean, as far as determining, because I personally, Kenwood Cove is great. My daughter loves it. She has a lot of fun. I don't like it for numerous reasons. People wearing Speedos who should not, and bikinis. But regardless of it, I know. But it provides a lot of fun for a lot of families, and I do know that and don't quote me, but if I understand correctly, that it's exceeded, the expectations financially. The sales have always been up in the water park, so I think that's great. Mm-hmm. But on the flip side of it, I will just say this: as a kid growing up, and I'm not from Salina, but I had different activities. I always danced, and I was in plays and stuff like that. So I probably, as a kid, being in a teen center, that would never have appealed to me. And there's a lot of people that do sports, and I guess my thing is, and I always go back to, and I talk about the town of Ellsworth, no offense, Ellsworth, but
they're not watching anyway.
God bless them. But the town prides itself, it calls itself a cow town. Yikes! But I always feel for the kids.
With that.
Well, I know I just feel for kids who aren't in 4-H or football, because what do those kids do if they can't drive, right? And so for a town like that, to me, it seems like limited options. What do? They
might ride the dryers.
See, and that's a difference. Military, there's not. I mean, if you were of a military family, because I came here to Saline as a military family.
You're talking Schilling Air Force Base?
Yeah,
okay.
we were out there. Bam.
Right.
There's not all them things to do. We had our own swimming pool, of course, because that's the military thing. But you can only do, and we played football. I can say I played football even in a bowl. Like, we had this big old bamboo bowl. It's a big football thing for youth to grow up, and baseball. We got to do all those activities. But as you get older, there's things like you want to be around your buddies and talking about different stuff. And the scene that you get, well, just what I got was we started partying to be around our friends or to associate, because there was nowhere to go.
But don't we have the city? I mean, like
the teen center.
We have the city that's there on 7th Street. That's like a teen center too.
That locks you in and all kinds of stuff.
Why do we
Your parents can't go.
Because it's not a teen center necessarily. It's a recreation center. So they're talking about it being basketball, football, a soccer field. I mean, they're talking about it being quite expansive.
Right.
But it'll be more focused on sports-related activities.
How is that different from the Y?
It's not different from the Y. It's just a larger facility.
Because I mean, and I hate to be negative Nelly, but I'm just going to say it. Is it the city of Salina's responsibility to take care of teens, or is it maybe the families and the parents? I mean, whose social responsibility is it to keep teenagers in line? I mean, I know countless teens that are very involved in whether it's sports, arts, or whatever, and
as soon as they get done being a teen, they leave.
But do you really think a rec center is going to keep people staying in Salina?
No, not just necessarily the rec center, but if you keep activities, that rec center could be more than just for teens. It could be for all of us if they cut that expense. It costs to go to the Y. I go to K-State. It costs to go there. It doesn't matter where you go. But if the city is going to contribute money, maybe there's a way where we can cut the money on the people at the same time to go to that rec center. I mean, there's not a lot for us to do right now.
But but a lot of people, and I go back to my parents all the time, they often, property taxes in Salina are high.
Yeah.
My parents are on a fixed income, and and my parents worked hard, and they both, they had good jobs and so forth. Their home, it's nice, it's modest, it's not, they don't live in a mansion, but property taxes are hard, and so to add that on for other people to I don't know, maybe this is just the world according to Marnie, but I don't feel it's the city's responsibility for me to find things to interest my kid, because she's my child.
So why should they pay for the schools then? They do that all the time right now.
But do they? I paid $60 in textbook rental for my daughter, and she's in the 4th grade.
I know you were a little upset about that.
$60, really? I don't know. I mean,
But that's only part of what it really
but
takes.
extracurricular
It really
activity and
takes to see
education,
it.
I think education and extracurricular are different. That's just me.
They're
I just feel
different?
it's different.
We'll talk about that more when we come right back.
You made it. Years of hard work, investing, planning, and now you're here. The long-awaited reward you spent a lifetime looking forward to. But what now? After years of growing a nest egg, now you may want to manage it. Use it to fund your dreams. Make it last as long as you need it. And leave some for those you love. So what do you do? Wall Street continues to be uncertain, and some conservative options have dropped through the floor. How do you maintain opportunities for growth and reduce risk of loss from market changes? That's where we come in. We are financial professionals. From insurance products to tax reduction strategies and guaranteed retirement income you cannot outlive, provided by the claims-paying ability of insurance companies. You've worked a lifetime to get here. Let us help you enjoy it to the fullest. For a complimentary consultation, simply contact us today.
Hi, welcome back. And we're still on this topic because during the break we were still discussing some things that were giving Marnie a little bit of heartburn.
Yes.
She's always got heartburn.
Whatever.
Complainer.
Wow. Okay, I'm just
But
saying.
no, you did make a good point. You did make a good point.
Well, I know I'm come across as a sports hater. I do appreciate the dedication, the discipline, the teamwork, the responsibility. I do respect that. But I don't.
Backhand to Comlade. Here comes the but.
But if you're not into sports, if you're the kid like me that was the last to get picked in gym, except for dodgeball, I was very fierce in
I'm
dodgeball.
that kid.
Thank you very much.
I'm that kid.
But if you hate sports and you like the arts, well, what is the sports complex going to do for you? I mean, we already have the why. We already have, I mean, my parents, Dean Evans Stadium, the stadium on Markley Road, the soccer fields off of Magnolia, dear God. I mean, every Sunday, I think like half of Salina is at the soccer field. Do we really need another sports complex?
Well, what I feel like is that it depends, what we need is dependent upon who's supporting it. You know what I'm saying there? I mean, the Y is supporting this. The Jason Gage is supporting this. The USD3.
What? You did not just say that.
I'm sorry, Mr. Gage. I got no
He's our
idea
city
who you are.
manager.
I told you, I know nothing about nobody.
Sorry.
USD 305 is supporting this. Okay, so you have these big supporters that are looking at this sports complex. How are we possibly going to turn that around and say, well, no, we don't want to spend the money on this. We don't think it's necessary. Because, it's kind of like the River Project in a way. If you get the right people that want that project bad enough, somehow that project is always going to succeed. It may not succeed the first time,
Right.
but eventually it's going to succeed. So to me, if we fight it, we may fight the good fight right now, but eventually it's going to come back around, and eventually we're going to have that rec center. Whether it's privately funded or whether it comes back up on a ballot next time. If it's privately funded, great, but I don't think it's going to go that way because there's too much city support for the facility.
But maybe it could be privately funded. I mean, like the city, you said that's privately funded.
I mean, how I understand it, that is not a government funded. I could be wrong, but from what I understand, that is a Christian religious organization that is privately funded. Now, if I'm incorrect, I do apologize, and I'm saying that because I just have always been under the assumption they're totally funded through private donations. Just like the Rescue Mission, they don't get any kind of government funding because they are a Christian organization, therefore a religious organization. And for example, and again, if I'm incorrect, please feel free to correct me, but that, for example, that soccer field on Magnolia, that was a bunch of parents and community members that wanted that, and they came together and did that on their own, if I understand that correctly. I, who am not a soccer mom, but I've heard that. I mean, I lived amongst soccer people forever, and that's what I always heard, was that a group of parents and families came together and got that initiative going.
And that's been very successful.
All I know is every Sunday I drive by and it seems like 3/4 of Saline, half of Saline is there. So, I mean, I rarely go by there where there's not, activity going on. And again, I'm not saying that it's not good, but again, property taxes are high. I feel for homeowners. I really do. And I'm not one. I'm not. I kind of wish I was, but
so we can vote and then somebody else is going to pay. That's what you get.
Yeah, no, but really, like, for example, I mean, at some point, you want to help. That's the whole point. You want to help people. You want to give to your community. You want to be good stewards of your money and so forth. But at the same time, do my parents need to pay more money in property taxes to help more sports? What's wrong with Dean Evans? What's wrong
don't
with
hit
soccer?
the property tax, hit the sales tax.
But
see, to me, that makes more sense. I mean, like, I rent. To me, it would make more sense to have these things added onto a sales tax. That way it's spread out amongst everybody. Because I always feel guilty voting for something knowing that I'm not going to pay for it. And so I would not vote for this knowing the fact that I rent, and then your parents or you homeowners are going to have to pay for this. I don't feel good about that. So I would not vote for it based upon that. Not the fact that I don't think it's a good idea. I think anything for teens and for youth, I think is a great idea, but I'm not going to vote for it if I'm not going to have to share in paying for it. I'm not going to do that. And no, I'm not just going to go down there and just write them a check. I'm not doing that either. And I'm not going to go down there and volunteer. I'm not doing that either. So there might be people thinking that stuff, but I'm just letting you know right now, I'm not doing it.
It's all
and if I'm not
about
going to do
him.
it, right? If I'm not going to do it, then I don't think it's right for me to make sure that somebody else has to do it. I don't feel that's right.
Well, paying for the stuff that we're doing in Salina as far as improvements or whatever, whether it be the rec thing that we're doing or the jail. It's, do you want property taxes or do you want sales tax? So that's like asking me, do I want to be tickled to death?
I love being tickled.
Or,
I hate
do I want to watch another ice bucket challenge? It's
so
like,
sick of that.
Don't go there, please.
where, what's the worst of the two evils? Well, to me, it's the tickle to death. I would much rather.
Which one is the tickle in the sales
it's
or
the
the
sales.
property?
It's the sales tax.
Okay.
I feel like that is spread out a little bit, even with the jail situation. Okay.
Right.
Let's just say that gets voted. That gets voted in. I would much rather see that in a sales tax situation, because then I can decide a little bit about how much I want to contribute.
So what's the jail thing about?
But tell me this, though, really. Where's the studies? Where's the studies that say that we need a rec center for our teens? Where is the disparaging figures about our youth, that they're just so troubled and horrible and that we need this teen center? Where is that?
I don't think it's a study, Marnie. I think it's an opinion.
It's an expensive opinion.
It's an opinion of a group of people who support those types of activities, and yes, they want to support the youth, and I want to support the youth too. But I think there's other ways we can do it besides spending more money that a lot of people in our community don't have.
I would rather, as far as the jail, I just think, first off, just for what it's worth, I think too many people are going to jail for the wrong reasons. I think there's so many mental health issues that are being masked by other stuff. I think that is not being dealt with. I'm not by any means claiming to be any kind of mental health expert or correctional expert by any means, but there's countless people that are getting put into jail that have clearly mental health issues, and just locking them away and letting them rot and letting us pay for it. I don't know that that's good, but I will say in the same vein, I've sat through many meetings hearing Annie Grievous give community corrections updates and so forth, and our correction officers, their caseloads, they're totally overworked. It's not safe. I mean, just next door, the juvenile facility got shut down. It wasn't safe. The building was, not fit. And I don't even remember what we're paying to ship those kids elsewhere. I mean, I think we need to deal with our social ills. I like the idea of a rec center, and in theory, it's great. But I just think we're not correctly dealing with some of our social concerns,
But to go to your social concerns, do you realize that we in the United States have more people in prison than any other country on the planet? Now just think about that for a second. We have more people in prison than China,
Than China?
Than China.
No way.
Twice as many as China.
What is
than
that about?
India. We have nothing more than China. Not anything. We have more people in prison than China. We have more people in prison than India. More people than any other country on the planet. What is it about us that we, A, feel like we need to lock people up, and why are we committing crimes? Because I'm not saying people aren't committing the crimes, but why are we committing crimes to where we're being locked up at twice a rate of a country that has 3 times the population of us?
That is crazy.
What?
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Not enough rec centers.
Dang it,
China's
kids.
got all of them.
We need more soccer
rec
Rosanna.
center.
We
We'd have this fixed.
But I bet you a lot of it's drugs. I mean, you see that a lot. And I'm just saying, I talk to different guys, and it may be they end up in burglary, but it started with the drugs. So as the drugs are coming on the scene, and this is probably even before my time when, you know, they were out with it's free to do these drugs. I think that the drug scene is causing people to do those different things. And I'm saying, I'm not saying, you know, in my days I smoked pot, and I went from there to cocaine, the whole 9 yards. But those things are causing people to go out there and do those things. So maybe it's some way we need to help them with the drug scene.
Don't they have those problems in China? There's over 1 billion people. They don't have. There's no weed or cocaine in China. I don't understand that. How
we always like to bring it all here.
We import.
We do. A lot.
I don't know the statistics about other countries and drug use and stuff, but I do think that definitely just locking somebody up who's a drug addict, that's not going to do it. They're either going to make better connections, you know, or have more health issues because they're withdrawing and whatever. And I'm not dissing the correctional system, but I just don't think throwing a drug addict in jail is the answer. And the repeat of it, heck, if you just check Saline Post, how many familiar faces do you see? I mean, it's sad. We even used to have on Access the most wanted, and I'll never forget the staff member that had to update it. He's like, my gosh, it's the same faces every month. And I know, it's depressing, you know? So clearly, that's not working, and I don't know what the answer is. But I would just say tackle mental health.
Once you get in that trap, though, it's hard to get out. It's like a downward spiral. Once you get trapped in it, you just can't get out of it. Because you went in for you went in for a bag of marijuana, but now you're in corrections where you can't do anything, and then you go into a bar and get in an argument, well, you're back in there. It's like a downward spiral. I talk to guys that are like that all the time.
And do these people that you talk to, do they tell you that they want to change, that they want to change how things are in their lives?
And that's, some of them say that, and then some of them say, I wanted to change, but I couldn't. I just kept on doing. And it's maybe because things get good to them or something, is what I want to say. Is like, when you do bad, you continue to do bad, and it's hard to get out of it. Just like when you do good, when you start doing good, you walk in a positive light, then you got all the smiles and everything. But when you start, and I've said this before, once you start going into that negative atmosphere, it's just hard to pull yourself. You don't just pull out automatic.
Right.
But, you know, and I've also heard a lot, too, that they're starting to change the way that they think just about alcoholism, that it truly is a brain disease. It truly is. They can do mapping at the brain and research through, they can do studies on the brains of alcoholics, and it's an actual brain disease.
Yeah.
What are you saying?
I was talking the last time we were talking about that mapping. They're mapping all the neurons in the brain.
Yeah.
$300 million for 10 years.
Nice.
What?
It's a drop in the bucket. One bomb. That's one bomb a year. That's not even a stealth bomber. That's not even a drone. That's nothing.
So now, even with what you just said, that could be part of the things that's got those people in there too, if they got a disease.
But so let's treat it with mental health. Let's not just lock them up in jail. And I'm not, you know, I mean, what kind of What kind of condition can you imagine if you have severe mental health issues, whether it's addiction or whatever, and you get locked up? I mean, is that really conducive to bettering someone for society? And maybe it is, but it certainly doesn't seem to be. If we have more people locked up than China, good
Twice as
God,
many.
that's crazy. Crazy!
It's crazy, Salina. We'll be right back.
However you get to Access, just get to Access. Come visit us at 215 North 9th Street, Salina, Kansas. Phone number is 785-823-2500. Hey, at Access TV, we can film about anything, even a video of a hard drive just spinning around in my hands. Contact Access at 823-2500 to get your programs on the air. Or if you want to help with any of our productions, give us a call, 823-2500. By law, public access is open to all citizens and to all viewpoints and for only non-commercial purposes. If you have any idea for a television program, we want you to be a member and we want to cablecast your program. TV for you, by you. Just give us a call at 785-823-2500 to find out more.
Hey, welcome back. We are limited on our time left today. And
Such a bummer.
Such a bummer, because it's been so much fun talking about all these issues with you guys.
Yeah.
Great.
You know, I appreciate all of your candor and your fresh comments and all the different things that you guys come up with as far as different aspects of all the topics that we've discussed today. So thank you. We want to thank Marnie for being with us today.
So never ask me back ever again.
No, we will.
Yeah,
we will.
We found out a lot on this show.
Yeah.
We did.
found out that Dean was with Madonna.
Yeah, go Dean. All right. So thanks for watching, and this has been The Scene from Salina.